Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. My name is Aaron Eberly, and I'm the Lexis rep at Harvard Law School. If you have any questions after the video, feel free to reach out to myself or any of the student reps. Our contact info can be found here on the Law School homepage. So the purpose of this video is just to show you quickly a few resources on Lexis Advance which may be helpful to finish up your brief as you're drafting. The first resource we're going to do or look at is go into Lexis Advance and take a look at sample court documents. Oftentimes it can be very helpful to see how an attorney in the real world drafted a particular brief, motion, pleading on a similar issue that you may be working on. So in the search box, the way you would pull these up is you'd run a search similar to what you're running in your case law research. So here I'm going to use inducement by government and run the search. The content category that we're going to look at is over on the left-hand side, briefs, pleadings, and motions. This is where all of the court documents on Lexis Advance are all located. So currently there's over 15 million sample documents to choose from. So as you go into briefs, pleadings, and motions, one of the narrowing filters that's probably most useful is the type of document you may be looking for. So under category you'll see the different types here. Obviously for our purposes today you can click on briefs and weed out the other documents. But certainly over the summer you may be asked to draft something that you've never seen or never worked on. So maybe pulling up a sample answer or a motion for summary judgment or a motion to produce. A lot of these may be really helpful for particular types of assignments. But again, here we're going to focus on briefs, so I can click on briefs there, eliminate all the other types of documents. And then the other narrowing filter that's just really helpful to always use is the jurisdiction or court filter. So if you knew you were working in Texas, you can click on Texas here under jurisdiction, and now all of the other jurisdictions' court documents are eliminated. So now you're left with just a nice, really sample set of resources for Texas briefs. And as you're going through the results on the right hand side, one other thing you can take a look at or look out for is the type of brief you may be looking for. So you'll see here in the title it'll have the case name, but also the type of brief it is. So here this is an initial brief by appellant petitioner. So again, you can scroll through, look at some of the results. When you do open up one of the documents, on the left hand side you'll see the brief in full. This side is formatted for researching and looking at it on Lexis. If you did ever want the original source image, so the scanned copy that was submitted in court, on the right hand side you can pull those or pull those up by clicking on original source image. That will show you the full PDF version of the document. But going back to this section, the reason these are so great to kind of use, look at, kind of investigate, is that a lot of times they can give you some nice guidance on how you may want to structure your argument using a similar type of issue. So as you scroll down past the table of contents, one really helpful resource here is the table of authorities. You can actually see the cases that this brief relied on, how they used those cases in their arguments, cases and other sources as well, like statutes. But those can be really good just to kind of check it on yourself just to make sure you may not be missing some important case that may be on point. And then as you scroll past all of the attorneys listed here in the case, you'll then start to get to the sections of the actual brief. So the statement of the case, the issues presented, summary of the argument. So as you're drafting a lot of these sections, you may need some guidance, help. You may not know how to kind of structure one of the arguments, and these can be really good. So you can see the headings they used and so forth. So that's the one source, the first source I wanted to show you to make sure you're aware of that they are there and can be really helpful. A couple other things related to court documents here as we're looking at it. Over on the right hand side you'll see a couple links usually if there are other court documents related to this case as well. You'll see those listed here in the About This Document section. So you can click on the briefs link here and see other briefs that were also submitted in this case. So you have some other reply briefs, the initial brief for the appellee respondent. So depending on what you're looking to find or look for, you have a lot of options here. going back, the other link that you may sometimes and often see is a link to the actual court opinion. So here we're looking at the brief. We don't know how this case was decided, who won, which side of the argument was actually successful. So you can always link, if there is a court opinion associated with this case, you can link to that directly. So when you click here, you'll see the actual opinion delivered in this case. For this example, it's the Supreme Court of Texas. And then of course you can then start to read and figure out who was successful and who failed in their briefs. So that's a really good way to kind of just check on the actual case. So this brings us to the second kind of tip or tool, if you will, about court documents. If you are looking at a case, so here let's say you didn't go through the court documents, you actually just pulled up a case through either case law search or however you found it. But when you are looking at a case, on the right hand side in the About This Document section, if there are court documents related to the case you're looking at, you'll see those listed here with a link. So from this court opinion, we see that there's actually 6 court briefs that were submitted that are on Lexis. You can click on those and you'll now see 6 documents that you can take a look at, and you'll see that we already saw this one because we have the little eyeglasses here. So that's just another way to access those same documents, but looking at it or getting there from the actual case. Okay, so that brings up the second kind of area that I want to talk about, and that involves when you're looking at a case. So let's assume this Quigley case was a case that you're actually going to use in your work product. So whether it's for this example, whether it's your brief or in practice any court document that you're relying on. What's nice is that now that you've found this great case, you can actually Shepardize it by clicking on the Shepardize This Document link, and then come here in the third tab on the left hand side to Other Citing Sources. This will actually show you any court documents that have cited that case. So as as you're utilizing a particular case and trying to figure out how to structure the argument or kind of apply it to your facts, these court documents, if you click on those to narrow the Shepard's report, could give you a really good examples of how attorneys are actually using it. So you'll see the court documents separated by briefs or motions or pleadings, and as you scroll through, if you click on any of these results, so entering this brief, you're taken to right where that brief or that case was actually cited. So you can then see exactly what was said about it, how it was argued, and so forth. So that's a really nice way to kind of see how cases are actually applying the case that you actually found and that you find helpful. So that's the kind of the second tip, kind of related obviously to court documents, but just a different method of pulling up maybe some helpful court documents for your research. Okay, so the third and final just tip or tool that I wanted to show you, we're actually going to get away from Lexis Advanced for a second and go into Microsoft Word. So this is a tool that is free to download for law students that is a great just kind of drafting tool. So if you do, and I'll show you how to download it in a second, but when you do download, it's called Lexis from Microsoft Word. It puts a little LexisNexis logo here in your Word documents. So it's always there, and when you want to use it, just click on the tab there. And for our purposes, it does a lot of things. It has a lot of really cool features. But for as you're drafting and finishing up your brief, the main thing that we're going to focus on today is the Prepare TOA button right here. So what this does is when I click on it, it will actually read through my document. So it'll read through your summary judgment or your motion to dismiss or your appellate brief, whatever it is that you're working on, and it will find all of the citations and organize them for me, and then instantly create a table of authorities all lined up perfectly kind of formatted. So it's really cool, and actually a huge time saver. So if you haven't already started this process, you will quickly find out if you try it on your own that it's a annoying kind of tedious task to create the table of authorities. So this will hopefully save you a lot of time. So depending on your document, it may take a second to find all the citations. But over on the right hand side, it now will kind of list all of the citations that it found in my court document. This is a sample motion for summary judgment. But at this point, what you can do is you have the option to format it. I think I have mine set at Second Circuit rules. So what you can do here is you see jurisdiction-specific rules. So all of the state court and federal court rules for creating a proper table of authorities are already preloaded. So all you literally have to do is come in here. So let's say you're working on a Ninth Circuit case, click on Ninth Circuit and then hit OK, and that will reformat it to the Ninth Circuit rules. So that's a really nice feature as well. But once you're done with that, obviously taking a look at it, you can then just click on Insert TOA over here on the right. That's then going to add the table of authorities right where your cursor is, so wherever you had your cursor in your document. So in just a matter of a couple seconds, it inputs the table of authorities, really nicely organized, and it has the associated page numbers where those documents are found. So if you have it in one place, you'll see obviously the page number there, but if it shows up more than one place, you'll see multiple. So that's the table of authorities, and again, if you change things, you can always update it. It's the same process. So if I wanted to, if I'm continually working on my brief and I'm moving things around, now when you go through that process, hit Prepare TOA, it'll just say Update instead of Insert. So it will then actually just update your table of authorities with all of the correct page numbers. So hopefully going to be a really nice time-saving tool. So downloading Lexis for Microsoft Office. So that's the kind of the downside to the program. So if you are a PC user, you're in luck. You can download it for free, use it on your computer anytime you want. For Mac users, and I'm actually a Mac user as well, it's not available for Macs yet. So what I've done is had the program installed on Computer Lab computers in the library and WCC building. It should, if it's not there already, it should be downloaded in the WCC Computer Lab very soon as well. So if you wanted to take advantage of it and you're a Mac user, just go down to the library Computer Lab, pull up your appellate brief, run that program. You saw how quickly it can be run. It'll create the table of authorities, and then you can save your document and move on. So. But to download it, if you are a PC user, over on the left-hand side here on the law school homepage, you'll see Apps and Tools. Just go ahead and click on that, and then you'll see a link here for free apps and tools for Lexis for Microsoft Office. So then just follow the download for free links and the steps. It's a very simple, quick download, but then you'll have that program for as long as you are in law school for free. So again, if you are on a Mac or if you're a Mac user, definitely utilize the program loaded in the Computer Lab computers. When you go to do that as well, I forgot to mention, just log in. It'll ask you to log in. Use your when you go to click on this little Lexis Nexus icon, log in with your normal Lexis Advanced ID and password. Okay, so that's all I had. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. As the email mentioned, you are going to receive 400 points, or enough for a $5 Amazon gift card or Starbucks gift card, depending on what you're after. To get those points, to make sure I know that you watched the video, please just go ahead and email me. You'll see my email here on the home page. Again, it's aaron.eberle, E-B-E-R-L-E, @lexisnexus.com, and just in the subject line, just write TOA for Table of Authorities. That way, if you just send that to me, I'll know that you watched the whole video, and I'll make sure to get your points to you right away. So I hope everyone's having a great spring break. Again, if you have any questions about any of the features shown today, don't hesitate to reach out, and hopefully you guys are somewhere warm and finishing up your brief. Thanks.